All right, what's up, Dragon Brood? We have Spider-Man cards to talk about, and there's a lot of them because they've been doing them for a couple of months, but we officially had day 1 and 2. So we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna try to go fairly quickly, so if we miss a couple of things, I apologize. But the first one here is Origins of Spider-Man. It's 2 mana, it's a saga. Chapter 1 is create a 2/1 green spider creature token. I expect we're gonna have a lot of that in this set, so not gonna be really surprised by that. Chapter 2 is put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It becomes a legendary spider hero in addition to its other types. And Chapter 3 is target creature you control gains double strike till end of turn. This is actually reasonable. I mean, you get a 2/1, right? So you get a creature, you get something larger that just happens to become a spider. So if you're playing a theme deck or whatever, cool. And then something gets double strike. Like, this is fine. I just don't know where I want it necessarily. Like, I don't think I mind it if it's, say, in like a token deck, because it's just a thing that makes another token with upside. But also, we could just play 2 mana and get a token. So it probably has a home. I just don't know where yet. One of many Peter Parkers we're going to see. And by the way, this first round of cards, some of these were just in the starter products or whatever we're calling the beginner decks, welcome decks or whatever. So some of them aren't going to be super powerful. Like, some of those are going to be a little later part of the stuff we're going to talk about in these couple of days worth of previews. But anyway, this is a 2 mana 0/1 human scientist hero. When it enters, create a 2/1 green spider creature token with reach. And it has pay 4, 1 blue, green, white, and transform it, only played as a sorcery, into a 4 mana 4/4 Spider-Man. And its vigilance, reach, legendary spells you cast that one or more colors has web slinging. And the ability is green, white, blue. You may cast a spell for its web slinging cost if you also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. Okay, so it's just like, in a weird way, it's like ninjutsu, only you don't need an attacker, you just need a tapped creature. It's probably the easiest way to explain that. But yeah, this seems okay, right? On the front side, you get an 0/1 and a 2/1, so that seems pretty good, right? You get 2 creatures for 1, even if one is just an 0/1. But then the second one, you can just turn into a bigger thing later. So this actually, independent of anything else, could actually just get played just because. And then if you happen to be playing this in a legendary creature deck, then awesome, you could play your legends for 3 mana. That alone is going to make this worth playing. Spider-Man 2099, wild comic if you've never read it, but it's a red and a blue for a 2/3 spider human hero. You can't cast Spider-Man on your first, second, or third turns of the game. It has double strike and vigilance. Well, that makes sense. It's a 2/3 with double strike and vigilance. They're not going to let you have that on turn 2. At the beginning of your end step, if you played a land or cast a spell this turn from anywhere other than your hand, this deals damage equal to its power to any target. So if you've played a land or cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. So this wants to be in some of those weird, like, double spell decks where you're recasting things, or maybe even alongside some other cards that are able to play things out of the graveyard. But just as a card, it's fine. The restriction of not being on the first 3 turns, though, is a big deal. Yeah, I was wondering how hard they were going to go on the lore here, but Spider Ham, Peter Porker, it says 1 and a green, so 2/2 for 2 mana. It's a spider boar hero, and you create a food when it enters, fine. But other spiders, boars, bats, bears, birds, cats, dogs, frogs, jackals, lizards, mice, otters, rabbits, raccoons, rats, squirrels, turtles, and wolves you control get +1/+1. That is a very exhaustive list, but really good. This means it fits into a lot of different decks, right? If you're playing, most popular of these being cats or dogs in green in various commander decks and such, but also if you wanted to find a way to splash this in rabbits, it's another way to give all your rabbits +1/+1 while creating a food. So that's a thing. So it fits into a few different builds. Not a ton. Raccoons, maybe because raccoons didn't have a raccoon lord. This actually does that there. So this might find some fringe play, just because it includes so many different creature types. Anti-Venom, horrifying healer. It is 5 white mana for a 5/5. It's a symbiote hero, and when it enters, if it was cast, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If damage would be dealt to this, prevent that damage, put that many +1/+1 counters on them. This is interesting in the sense that it's a white reanimation spell, and we don't get a lot of those typically. There have been some, but we don't get a lot. So 5 mana, 5. Well, it is 5 white mana. 5 mana, 5/5 with 2 bits of upside. It's at least playable. Good, I don't necessarily think so, but definitely playable. And it's going to be hard to kill in creature combat, right? It can just block all day, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Blocking it doesn't really do much. So you have to have actual spot removal for it. So a little bit of a problem card, but pretty cool. Spectacular Spider-Man is 1 and a white for a flash, 3/2. It has 1 mana. You can give this card flying until end of turn, and you can pay 1 and sacrifice this card. Creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Yeah, this card's just good. I mean, 2 mana, 3/2, right, with flash. I need to make sure that's clear on the screen there. I just realized, like, power and toughness is just off the screen. There we go. But 2 mana, 3/2. With flash, you can give it flying, so it's just going to be hard to block, which makes sense, right? Because it's Spider-Man. But then you can also give stuff hexproof and indestructible. I'm here for it. Like, if you're playing a aggro deck with white cards, or even something that wants creatures in the graveyard, it can always just sacrifice itself. Yeah, this is definitely playable. No surprise here, we're going to have a Gwen Stacy in the set, so colorless and a red for a 2/1 human performer hero. That's interesting, but makes sense. When this enters, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as you control this creature. Oh, that's cool. So it's not until the end of next turn or anything. It's just as long as you have this. And then you can pay 5, 2, and a blue, red, and white to transform it into the Ghost Spider. So it's 5 mana cost on the back. It's a 4/4 flying vigilance haste. And when you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on this card. Remove 2 counters from this card, exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card this turn. This is interesting because I don't mind the front side, right? It's a 2/1 for 2 that does give you access to another card that you don't even have to immediately use, which is great. And then the backside's just, like, on the creature itself, a 4/4 flying vigilant haste, fine to turn this into. Totally reasonable. Good card even. The abilities, I just don't know how often we would get those. I think if you built your deck around it, I guess, play land from exile or cast a spell from exile. I guess since you're playing red here, you could play the variety of cards that during your upkeep, exile however many cards, and you can play them that way or whatever. So there are some options to get some extra counters and stuff. But generally speaking, this is probably just okay. Spider-Punk, 1 and a red for a 2/1 human hero spider with Riot, which is cool. We hadn't seen that since, I don't know, years ago with Ravnica. Other spiders you control have Riot. Spells and abilities can't be countered. Damage can't be prevented. Oh, this is interesting. So spells and abilities can't be countered. We normally get creatures can't be countered. And then damage can't be prevented. All right. I mean, if you're doing the spider theme deck thing, this is obviously playable, right? Giving everything. Oh, for those who don't know, Riot, the creature enters with a +1/+1 counter, or it gets haste. So basically giving all your stuff haste if you need it. Yeah, this is more than reasonable. Then of course there's the Miles Morales, so you have 1 and a green. I just realized all these colors, each color combo seems to have, or each of the colors seems to have a 1 and a green spider character. But a 1/2 human citizen hero, when it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. And then you can pay 6, so 3 red, white, green to transform it, and it becomes a 6 mana, 3 red, green, white on the backside for a 4/3 first strike haste. You can pay 2, put a +1/+1 counter on it. He gains hexproof and becomes colorless until end of turn. That's interesting. And when you attack, double the number of each kind of counter on each spider and legendary creature you control. Huh. So I like the front side, even if you're just playing a counter type deck or whatever, putting some +1/+1 counters, really cool. The back side is interesting because giving it hexproof and randomly colorless, I don't know why that's relevant, but I mean, flavor wise, but not sure it's going to be relevant to a lot of your games. But giving it hexproof is cool. Doubling the number of counters on it, also powerful. And you can just do that by paying 2 if you want to have some extra counters on it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, you need to be playing some access to Naya colors to be able to flip it. But yeah, this could be pretty good. And even be powerful, again, in a theme deck, legend deck, spider deck, whatever. You have a Dr. Octopus, Master Planner, 5, blue, black, for a 4/8 human scientist villain. Other villains you control get +2/+2. Your maximum hand size is now 8 instead of 7. Interesting, that's cute that they made it 8. At the beginning of your end step, if you have fewer than 8 cards in your hand, draw equal to the difference. So you're always going to end your turn with 8 cards. Yeah, this is just kind of a cool flavored card, right? It gives other villains +2/+2. It's an 8 toughness creature. I mean, it is 7 mana, but there's ways you could trick it into play or whatever. I don't hate this. This is actually pretty cool. And then just being able to always draw up to 8 is super nice too. Because there's a lot of cards that say effectively you have no unlimited hand size, but it doesn't. They don't necessarily have ways for you to keep reloading your hand. Symbiote Spider-Man. 2 and a hybrid mana here of Dimir, so you can play 2 and a blue or black. You have a 2/4 creature. Whenever the creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from top of your library, put 1 into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. And it has an ability of find a new host, so the same cost again, 2 and either a blue or a black. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains this card's abilities. Activate only as a sorcery. This is fine. I mean, a 3 mana 2/4 potential chance to look at other cards. I mean, the problem here though is this card actually doesn't have any evasion, right? Doesn't have menace, flying, first strike, anything like that. So the odds of it getting through are fairly low, but it is a decent blocker. If it does get through, you just get free cards. And then from the graveyard, you can just give that ability to something else, which is kind of cool. So playable, just not crazy. We have an appearance of the Iron Spider, the Stark upgrade. So we have 3 colors for a 2/3 artifact spider hero with vigilance. You can tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature and or vehicle you control. You can pay 2, remove 2 counters from among artifacts you control, and draw a card. Yeah, this is useful, but it needs a very specific type of deck, right? Because it only puts counters on artifact creatures and vehicles. Not even... So it's +1/+1 counters, so that's good. But yeah, if you're playing the type of deck that can use this, it's going to be great. I just think the problem is we don't know of that many artifact creature decks or vehicle decks necessarily. So useful, but very kind of narrow focus. Multiversal Passage. It's a land. As it enters, choose a basic land type. Then you may pay 2 life. If you don't, it enters tapped. This land is the chosen type. All right, so this is good. Like, what I like about this card is at any point in Standard where you have the wrong basic lands rotate out, kind of like what we have right now in Standard, this could be filler for 4 more lands. And what I mean by that is we have some colors that already have their shock lands right now, and others combinations that don't. For the ones that don't, this could be a reasonable card to include, and then it just functions as one of those basic lands when you need them. So yeah, I don't know. It does cost you 2 life to get that. I don't know if that's necessarily worth it on its own, but it's at least worth considering and at least experimenting with. We have Craven's Last Hunt, 3 and a green. I assume we're going to have a lot of sagas to tell stories through Magic for Spider-Man. This is actually kind of neat. But Chapter 1, mill 5 cards. When you do, this saga deals damage equal to the greatest power among creature cards in your graveyard to target creature. Interesting that this says among creatures, not from the cards you mill. So you mill 5, and if there's already something bigger in the yard, then that's the thing that gets the deal damage. In Chapter 2, target creature you control gets +2 till end of turn. Fine. And in Chapter 3, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, so this is okay. It is a pseudo removal card, right? Assuming you have things in your graveyard. Something gets a bonus on a turn, and then you get a creature back from your graveyard. Will we play with this? Probably not, actually. While all the abilities are neat, and I think these will all be good and limited for sure. But I think while these are all reasonable abilities, I think at 4 mana, you would rather just be playing a bigger card or something that has an immediate impact or whatever. So, neat, but probably not something you're going to play in Constructed. Barring some idea where you're just trying to fill the graveyard with creatures, and then this does have some upside. The Soul Stone. By now, everybody's heard about this, but it's a colorless and a black. Has indestructible. It's obviously an Infinity Stone. It taps for a black mana. You can pay 6 and a black. exile a creature you control, you harness a soul stone, and then once you have that ability, at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Really good card. Nothing surprising about this. I will say we expect there to be, what is there, 6 stones in the gauntlet? Because I think there's one for each finger and one in the center. Uh, Honestly, I would expect to see 2 of these per set, since we know we're getting 3 Marvel sets. Crazy speculation here. We could get 6 1-of-1s. And that would be wild. I mean, the promotions they could do with that would be crazy. It'd be a weird social experiment, too, to see what people would do to get assemble the whole thing. But as a card itself, I think this card is very good. I think any variety of control decks that play black would consider this, because it's a ramp spell that also just has late game upside. So like, yeah, this one's just cool. The only thing I would say about it is that it only returns creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that could have some limitations on how powerful this card is in a lot of decks. But even just as a ramp card, I expect almost every Commander player playing black's going to want this. Carnage, of course, this had to be here. Crimson Chaos. It's 2 black, red for a 4/3. So far, so good. Symbiote villain with trample. When Carnage enters, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from a graveyard to the battlefield. It gains this creature attacks this combat if able, and when this creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it. And it has Mayhem of red and a black. And what Mayhem is you can pay it for the Mayhem cost if the card went to your graveyard that turn, I believe. So this is actually a really good card. 4 mana for a 4/3 with trample, solid. You also get to return something 3 or less. Now, that thing can attack. I mean, it has to attack each combat if able. And then if it deals damage, it dies. But if it doesn't deal damage, then your opponent's still just chump blocking it or whatever, so that's fine. So yeah, possibly 2 bodies, and you just get upside. If this card goes to the graveyard, you can just recast it. Okay, I had to double check. I just skipped away for a second there, because that didn't sound right to me. Mayhem is not when a card goes to a graveyard. It's when it's discarded that turn. You can do that. And that's a big difference. I was like, man, this card just gets to keep coming back for 2 mana? That can't be right. That's because it wasn't. Okay, but yeah, either way, I still think this is a quality card. 4 mana, 4/3, return something else. There's a lot of Rakdos colored decks that would want something like this. So yeah, I'm in for this one. I mean, this could be fun with Alesha. This could be fun with Lizards. Like, there's a few different builds already that I think would want this type of card. Gwynnm Remorseless. 3 black for a 4/4 Death Touch lifelink. When it attacks until end of turn, you can look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may play cards from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. Wow. This card's nutty. So a 5 mana 4/4 with Death Touch and lifelink. Awesome. But then, when it attacks, and it's till end of turn. So it doesn't matter if this dies during the attack step, as far as I can tell. So it triggers. Now until end of turn, you can look at the top card of your library. Anytime you can just keep playing stuff. Now, obviously, if you hit a land, you've already played a land, you're kind of stuck. But otherwise, you can just pay mana to get the next couple of spells, or pay life, actually, to get the next couple of spells off the top. I'm here for it. Like, this card's wild. Of course, we have to have a J. Jonah Jameson. It's a 2 and a red for a 2/2 human citizen. When it enters, suspect up to 1 target creature. That's a good use of that suspect ability for flavor purposes. Whenever a creature you control with menace attacks, create a treasure token. Oh, that's funny. So it's suspecting things, because that's what he does. But then whenever the creature you control with menace attacks, he then is able to profit from that. So he gets a treasure. That's funny. Well-designed card. Not many notes on that one. Like, that's just cool. You got it. The Clone Saga. A crazy time in the Spider-Verse. 3 and a blue for a saga that has Chapter 1 Surveil 3. Kind of straightforward. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. Now that's really strong. And then Chapter 3 is choose a card name. Whenever a creature with the chosen name deals combat damage to a player this turn, you draw a card. So Surveil 3, so you get to set up the best of your next 3 or 4 cards. Then when you cast a creature, and it says when you next cast a creature spell. Oh, on this turn. Okay. So that's weird wording. When you next cast a creature spell this turn. I guess you should just say the first creature you cast this turn. Either way, whatever. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, you copy it, except it's not legendary. So you could play another Spider-Man or whatever other legend you want, which is pretty cool. And then this is letting you basically choose the name of the thing you already have duplicates of, so you increase the odds of them hitting the opponent and draw a card. Chapter 3 is not even that powerful of an option here, it doesn't feel like, but Chapter 1 and 2 can be really good. Mysterio, Master of Illusion, 3 and a blue for a 3/3 human villain. When it enters, create a 3/3 blue illusion villain creature token for each non-token villain you control. Exile those tokens when Mysterio leaves the battlefield. Wow. So for each villain, you make a 3/3 token. So effectively, wow. And they just stay around till this dies. This is going to be a nuisance. And the funny thing is, minimum for 4 mana, you're getting 2 3/3s, because it doesn't say for each other, it just says for each. And he himself is a human villain that's not a token. So you're getting 2 3/3s for 4 mana, potentially, though, lots more. So if you build around this, this obviously has really high upside. Norman Osborn, so we found the blue one that's a 1 and a blue for a 1/1 human scientist villain. It can't be blocked. Alright, when it does combat damage to a player, it connives, where you draw and discard a card, and if you discard a non-land, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then you can pay 1 blue, black, red to transform it into the Green Goblin, of course. So, has the same cost on the back. It's a 3/3 flying menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast. And then it has each non-land card in your graveyard has Mayhem. This Mayhem cost is equal to its mana cost. Oh, so this is interesting. So Mayhem is when you discard a card that turn, but it gives all your cards Mayhem. So if you have a way to discard stuff, well, then each card gets Mayhem equal to its cost. However, that cost is also reduced by 2. Yeah, this is a little complicated of a card, really, but kind of sweet. I don't know if there's going to be a way to make this work, but if you do, the upside's really high here. Behold, the Sinister Six. Oh, I got a promo one of these this past weekend. This is cool. So, 6 and a black, so 7 mana. It's a sorcery. Why does this not cost 6? Like, we could have made it 3 and 3 black, or 2 and 4 black, or something, just so the Sinister Six costs 6. But anyway, it costs 7. It does have a 6 in the cost, I guess. 6 and a black, sorcery, return up to 6 target creature cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card, obviously going to be fun for commander players. I think if you're playing black, every commander deck's going to want one of these if you're playing creatures. You only have one of everything. So, like, you just pick 6 creatures, put them back onto the battlefield. For constructed play, it's not a bad reanimation spell if you can get to 7, if you're playing some type of ramp version that can do it. Because then you're probably returning at least 2, if not 3 things, which would be pretty good for 7 mana. Don't expect you'll see more than 1 in some of those reanimator builds, but this could end up being somewhat of a commander staple. Eddie Brock, 2 and a black for a 3/3 human hero villain. When it enters, return target creature card with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then you can pay 3 red, green, black for Venom the Lethal Protector. It has Menace, Trample, Haste is a 5/5. When Venom attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw X cards. Then you may put a permanent card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield, where X is the sacrifice creature's mana value. Whoo, boy. So you draw X cards. So let's say you have a 4 cost thing. You get to draw 4 cards and then put something 4 or less cost from your hand onto the battlefield. Less from permanent. It says permanent, so you don't even have to replace it with the creature. That's pretty cool. Yeah, this is kind of neat. I mean, the front side's even fine. A 3 mana 3/3, and you get to return a 1 mana thing from your graveyard to the battlefield. Like, I'm here for this. This is kind of cool. Electro Assaulting Battery. That's a funny pun there. 1 red, 2/3 human villain with flying. You don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, add red. When Electro leaves the battlefield, you may pay X. When you do, he deals X damage to target player. Ah, I see. So he's charging up to explode and release the electricity. 3 mana, 2/3 flyer that lets you bank mana effectively. This has potential to be playable, but I don't think it's like a must play type card, right? If you're playing Boros Burn or something like that, like a couple of copies of this could be reasonable, right? It's another flying creature. It gives you some extra damage if it dies later. I mean, there are probably homes for this, but I wouldn't think it's crazy. Sandman, Shifting Scoundrel, 1 green, where you have this card's power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. Well, that kind of makes sense. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. You can pay 3 green, return this card, and target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I was almost like, oh, this is okay. Last ability, very cool. Being able to pay 5 and return that, and a land from your graveyard. Like, this is a sweet card, actually. So a 3 mana, often going to be a 3/3 or larger for 3 mana. I mean, I don't know if just regular green aggro decks play this or not, but it's not bad, and it can't be chump blocked by small things. Your opponent has to dedicate something bigger to it. Yeah, this is an interesting card. This could get some play in a few different builds. Craven the Hunter. 1 green for a 4/3 trample. That's already good. 3 for a 4/3 trample. Whenever a creature an opponent controls with the greatest power among creatures that player controls dies, draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on Craven Hunter. I like this card. The flavor is fantastic. It's a 4/3 for 3, so it's already a really good combat creature, which is what Craven is. It does have trample, but he always wants to go for the big kill. So if you kill their biggest creature, he gets a bonus, and you get to draw a card. So, like, yeah, I'm here for it. This is just a fun design, and it fits right into a lot of Golgari builds, right? You're going to kill their largest thing. Great. It gets counters. You get a card. Nothing wrong with this. Just because it's a known character and I saw the name, we'll look at Rhino, Barreling Brute. 3 red, green, so 7 mana. Geez, for a 6/7. 6/7. Vigilant, Trample, Haste. Whenever Rhino attacks, if you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater this turn, draw a card. Yeah, I'm not feeling this card at all. I mean, don't be wrong. Vigilant, Trample, Haste, real nice on a 6/7 creature. But for 7 mana, I mean, there's bigger things we could get even if we're reanimating stuff. And then for it to have any more action, you have to have cast something that's 4 or better just to draw a card. Yeah, I'm cool that it got included in the set. Probably not one we're playing with. The Ultimate Green Goblin. 1 and your choice of 2 mana being either red or black. At the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card, then create a treasure token. And this card itself has Mayhem of 2 and either red or black, and it's a 5/4. What? Am I missing something? At the beginning of upkeep on your wait, so it's just a 3 mana 5/4 with no downside? I mean, I guess because you have to discard a card every turn, but you're also creating a treasure. And then this is also a Mayhem enabler, right? Because I was thinking, what's going to be in the set that lets you enable Mayhem, right? You need some engine that's going to let you discard every turn. Here it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a little bit of a downside, but a 5/4 creature for 3? Wow, that's something. Yeah, also randomly, it appears that the Spectacular Spider-Man's going to have like 6 different suits. And I don't know how we get these or whatever. I must have missed that somewhere. But this is kind of cool that all these different ones exist. I'm kind of here for this. This is sweet. Again, I don't know how we get these, but this is kind of cool that people can have their favorite. Even this random one where he was like on the Fantastic Four and whatever, like if you know, you know. But yeah, it appears to be 7 versions, so kind of wild. And of course, we included with great power comes 3 and a white mana for an aura. You have to enchant a creature you control. The creature gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it. All damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to enchanted creature instead. That's actually a cool way to theme this for a card. Yeah, I think this just goes right into those decks that are going to be playing a bunch of equipment or a bunch of auras, and various versions of those exist, especially for commander players. But now you get a 4 mana card that can keep you from ever taking damage, right? Because you get a creature to like a 10/10 or a 12/12. Now you can let some damage through, doesn't kill your creature, and you can kind of just keep playing Magic. So yeah, fun stuff. This one just sounded interesting. So Pictures of Spider-Man is 2 and a green. It's an artifact. When this artifact enters, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 creature cards from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You can pay 1 and tap it, sacrifice this artifact, create a treasure token. Oh, that's funny. So you go take the Pictures of Spider-Man, and then you get paid for your Pictures of Spider-Man. So it's a 3 mana artifact that effectively, hopefully, puts 2 creatures into your hand that you can later turn into a treasure. Useful, definitely a thing you want in limited play. We'll see if it makes the cut in any type of constructed decks. Rent is due. Poor Spider-Man. So for 1 white mana, it's an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, you may tap 2 untapped creatures and or treasure you control. If you do, draw a card. Otherwise, you sacrifice this enchantment. So as long as you're willing to tap treasures or creatures, you just get a card. If not, you lose the card. This should be reasonable enough, right? There's enough things that make treasures that you could keep turning this on. So, yeah, I'm here for it. This could be playable. Web of Life and Destiny, as it's called here via translation. So 6 green, so 8 mana. That's a lot. At the beginning of combat on your turn, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay, never mind. There's a reason it costs 8. You just get a free creature every turn. Oh, it's the beginning of combat, so not even at the beginning of turn. Yeah, why not? Like, if you're playing a ramp build anyway, playing one of these is fine, so it increases the odds that you get to hit your big thing. So, like, yeah, I'm here for it. Man, this could be fun in Commander. Like, you high roll to basically to try to hit something huge. Yeah, this is an interesting card for sure. Radioactive Spider. It's just a green mana for a 1/1 reach death touch. We've done that on a few things lately, giving stuff reach and death touch. You can pay 2, sacrifice this card, search your library for a spider hero card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, this is fine. It's a 1/1 for 1 with death touch and reach, but later on, if you want, go ahead and sacrifice it. Go hunt for a Spider-Man. I'm down. Spider's Man, Heroic Horde, 1 and a green for a 2/3. Well, 2 for a 2/3 is cool. Spider Hero, what's the upside? It does have web slinging of 6. You can cast that for that cost. If you also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. So, I mean, I guess. I don't know why you'd ever want to pay 6. But when Spider's Man enters, if they were cast using web slinging, you gain 3 life and create 2 green. That's why. That makes sense. So you could return a tapped creature, pay 6, play this, and for 6 mana, you get a 2/3, 3 life, and 2 2/1s with reach. I mean, cost-wise, it's not bad, but I can't see more than 1 or 2 of these being in a deck that wants to do web slinging. Peter Parker's Camera. Just a singular mana artifact. This enters with 3 film counters on it. You can pay 2, remove a film counter from this artifact. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Ooh, boy. This is a cheap way to copy any activated or triggered ability. Like before, we had, what was the card? There was a card in Final Fantasy, a blue creature that we kept trying to make work that has something similar that we couldn't get to work. But this is on a very cheap to cast artifact. It's just 1 mana and then 2 to activate. Whew. This probably does something crazy. There, especially in older formats, there's a million things you could copy that could be bananas. People will find something to do with this. It's just too cheap not to. Agent Venom, 2 and a black for a 2/3 symbiote soldier hero with flash and menace. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Alright, we've had variations of this before. I do like the fact that it can flash onto the battlefield, so your opponent doesn't know the value you're about to get. Say you're about to lose 2 or 3 creatures in combat or something. So it's playable. I just don't think it's one of, like, if I'm already playing symbiotes, I was going to say spiders, but this is a symbiote, not a spider. But yeah, if I'm playing something in that space that's a theme deck with one of these keywords, then sure. But otherwise, probably not going to show up in too many decks. Imposter Syndrome, otherwise known as the Spider-Man meme. 4 blue enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary. Yeah, but we're going to have fun building with this as creators, right? Just paying 6 mana for an enchantment that every time we deal damage, we get a copy. We get another thing, especially if you're playing a bunch of stuff that all has enter the battlefield triggers. Sure. Like, do I think this is good? Not necessarily. I mean, it is 6 mana, it doesn't do anything on its own. But if you're looking to build some fun creative decks, this is probably a card for you. Interdimensional Web Watch, 4 colorless mana, or 4 generic mana. When this artifact enters, exile the top 2 cards of your library until end of your turn. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. You can tap and add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast spells from exile. So when it enters, you exile the top 2 cards of your library. And then until the end of your next turn, you have a chance to play those. You can also use the mana from this to cast those. But then after that, you just kind of need a way to play stuff from exile. So this feels like if I'm building around it, this is a useful card. Otherwise, this is basically 4 mana and get me a ramp artifact for 1 turn while I try to cast the things off of it. So, I don't know how much is going to be play from exile type stuff. And now we got to ask you, what was your favorite card from today? Because there was some cool thematic stuff. Like, credit to R&D because they made some really thematic things to represent stuff in the comic series. So this is fun if you're a fan. If you know, you know. If not, this is a way for you to learn about stuff, which I think is really cool. And let me say, if you don't like Universe Beyond or you don't like Spider-Man, whatever, we get it. Not everybody's going to. I understand. I'm just reviewing cards. Keep those comments out of there because otherwise I'm just going to remove them and or remove you. I'm just saving you the time. But otherwise, yeah, let me know what your favorite is or what you're expecting to see in the set that you haven't seen yet. But that's all I have you for now. We'll see you next time.